Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. Today is the 21st day of January 2022. Happy Friday. I hope you are healthy and COVID-free today. I hope that your household is healthy and COVID-free. And I hope that the needs of your household in terms of food, shelter, clothing, and health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and those that are the first responders, trying every day to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage to keep our streets and our sidewalks clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the ones that are trying to help deliver and rescue the innocent victims, the victims of pornography, the victims of child pornography, the victims of molestation, child molestation and pedophilia, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, the victims of human trafficking and sex slavery operations. Blessings upon those trying to deliver these victims and upon the victims themselves, and double curses on the ones that are the profiteers and perverts who spread this misery for their pleasure. Finally, blessings upon those that are homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children in the United States and millions around the world here in January outside. Blessings upon them and those that are trying to help, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night. Our New York Knicks lost to the New Orleans Pelicans to lose their third straight game, 102-91. Now, let's back up a second to what we talked about yesterday in terms of the structure of the roster, in terms of the team salary structure. So Leon Rose signed multiple veterans to short-term deals. The longest term deal, as we talked about yesterday, is Evan Fournier's deal. Julius Randle's 4-year deal. That's the longest one. But then Evan Fournier, who signed a 3-year deal. It's 3 years guaranteed. The 4th year is a team option. Then you have Kemba Walker, Taj Gibson, Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, all of the Derrick Rose, all of these veterans are on 2-year deals. Now they all, they signed 3-year deals, but the 3rd years are all team options. Why did he do that? Well, one of the reasons is because he keeps flexibility. Okay. He maintains flexibility. So that means that any of these deals can be traded either this year for the 2-year guys, or definitely next year because they're all expiring. Okay, if the Knicks don't pick up the option or whoever team gets their rights, they don't have to pick up the option. It becomes basically a 2-year deal. And so you maintain the flexibility. And why is flexibility important? Flexibility allows you to clear salary off your roster if you need to. And why would you want to do that? Why would you want to clear salary off your roster? You have 10 young players on your team. When you guys signed these deals, these players you had just drafted Miles McBride, Deuce McBride, you had just drafted Jericho Sims, you had just drafted Quentin Grimes. You had Emmanuel Quickly in his 2nd year. When these guys signed these deals, you have Obi Toppin in his 2nd year. You got RJ Barrett in his 3rd year. You got Mitchell Robinson, who's 23 years old, in his 4th season. And then, of course, you just traded for Cam Reddish, who is also in his 3rd year. So it gives you opportunity to develop from among the kids that you have, that guy, that next guy, that group of players that could be the nucleus of a long-term sustainable winner. Because as we talked about many times, one of the basic tenets normally in the NBA of a long-term sustainable winner is developing your guy from within. Okay, and although in the era of a LeBron James where you can run to a team and get your buddies and try to win a championship, that does happen. But for the long-term sustainable winners, like the Cleveland Cavaliers are building now once LeBron left, you draft an Evan Mobley. You draft a Darius Garland. You draft a Colin Sexton. Okay, you sign a young Jarrett Allen long-term. And now you're building the nucleus of a long-term sustainable winner the right way. Okay. So the Knicks, that's why they did that. They have all of these young players. They're hoping to develop a couple of them into that type of player. They have they are all prospects. And so in the meantime, you keep the team competitive with some veterans. Okay. And you get a Tom Thibodeau that's going to squeeze the most that he could get out of the veterans. And he's going to ignore the rookies for 2 seasons. Okay. In the meantime, these guys, some of them are getting regular minutes, like your Quickleys, your Randles, not Randles, your Mitchell Robinsons, your RJ Barretts, your Emmanuel Quickleys. They're getting regular minutes. Okay. That becomes your nucleus of the team going forward, your young team going forward. Then you see what you can get out of these other guys. Now, that being the case, another reason that flexibility is good is because if you see that the veterans you have are not going to perform to the level of getting you a playoff spot. See, the last year, the Knicks made the playoffs, lost, as we know, lost in the first round. The expectation of all of us coming into the second year was a second round playoff appearance. That's what we were looking for. I was looking for a second round playoff appearance with the possibility of competing for the Eastern Conference Finals. And I was looking for that because I assumed that we get the same Julius Randle, that we get 19 point per game Kemba Walker, 17, 18 point per game Fournier. RJ would take the next step, right? And a healthy Mitchell Robinson. Now, out of that 5 things, we got 2. RJ has taken the next step, and we got a healthy Mitchell Robinson, who just now in the last, say, 3 weeks to a month got into not just health, but shape, because he was out all summer and none of us really knew, was he working out? Was his foot ready? Is he going to be ready to opening night? We weren't sure about that. As it turns out, he wasn't going to be. His foot was healing all summer. He came into camp overweight and now he's just getting in shape in January. He's now showing what he's going to be when he's in shape, and he's got a lot more upside. So we got 2 of the 5 partially. And because of that, the Knicks are, see, in Knicks Nation, we tend to be extreme. Either they're championship world beaters or they suck. There is an in-between. They are right now just an in-between run-of-the-mill team. They're an NBA team. Okay, they're not as bad as the 17 win teams that we were seeing before Thibodeau came. They're not that bad. They're not going to be in the lottery like that. Right. But they're probably at best this year a 500 team, which is way off from what I expected. I was expecting 50 plus wins. But again, it was based on those 5 things that I mentioned, which we didn't get. So that being the case, your Leon Rose, you got to decide. This is what you got to decide. You got to decide, do I pull the plug on these veterans? Because he can. And have Thibodeau play some of these young players. And you have to ask, why would he do that? But what is his reason? What would be his reason for doing that? Number one, if we're going to be a 500 team, right? If we're going to be a 500 team, it's not worth keeping these veterans in front of some of these kids, because you got this, as we talked about yesterday, you got decisions to make on a couple of them, 3 of them. That could be your cornerstone. You got to give Mitchell Robinson his money now. It's time for him to get paid. And he's eligible for 4 years, $55.6 million. You want to get that done as soon as possible. Or Mitch might decide, or he might not decide to sign it and see if he can get more in the open market. That would be a problem. Okay. Second, RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish are in their 3rd season and eligible for extensions after this season. So you got to see what you have. Now with RJ, you know what you got. Okay. With Cam, he's all potential right now. Okay. He hasn't produced much on the floor. He's like a 12 point per game scorer, but he's never been fully healthy or got the full minutes that he needs, like RJ has been getting, to develop into his full potential. And then he's been hurt. So really he's an unknown, not known, but he's full of talent. And you got to know what you have, because it's crunch time to make a decision, and you just traded for him. So you got to decide what you're going to have. So these 3 players you have to play. Right now, two of them are already playing. Cam is not. We don't even know what Tibbs if he's going to. But you got to see what you got. Then you have Quentin Grimes. You got 3 years to decide with him, so you got to worry about him. You got Deuce McBride, who's destroying the G League. Every time he goes down there, he makes it a point to put up some ridiculous game numbers, right? And the G League team for the Knicks, the Westchester Knicks, stink this year. They don't win any games, like, until Deuce comes. Then when Deuce and Jericho get there, they start winning. Okay, so you got to decide about those, and then you got Obi Toppin, who's going to be 24 next month. I mean, not next month, in March. I think in March, Obi going to be 24 years old. You drafted him at age 22. This is his second year. He's already showing that the minutes that he's getting are not enough. He needs more. Okay. He's showing enough. He's not hurt hardly. He's showing enough so that you got, a lot of upside there that you just not tapping into. And your coach is giving him, like last night, he gave him 19 minutes because he was part of Mobb Deep that was trying to win a game when we was down 25. Even though he didn't score, he was very effective last night on the defensive end as well, especially. So, you got decisions to make. So with that in mind, do you send off these veterans, clean the house, and then have, your 10 young dudes? Then you still got Luka Samanic in the Westchester. You still got Jericho Sims. Okay? Or do you make trades for Miles Turner or Jalen Brunson to try to shore up what you got and see if you could win? Even if you do that, you're going to have to still subtract some play. There's going to be some guys got to go. So if you are going to trade for Jalen Brunson before the deadline, we mentioned this before, you're going to have to send out a rotational piece that's in that 1.8 to 2 something million. And that's one of your Mobb Deep guys. That's going to be either the most likely candidate is Emmanuel Quickly, because that salary fits and he would go into the rotation where Brunson was in the rotation in Dallas. Okay. If you want to do that. And I know that Tom doesn't want to do that. So or you could wait till the summer and you're still going to have to do a sign and trade. Okay. Now, there are a couple of players that the Knicks have that are valuable to other teams. Right now, they're valuable. The most valuable vets that the Knicks have right now, the two most valuable vets, are Evan Fournier and Alec Burks. They're the two most valuable veterans you have. So if you have teams in playoff contention, those are the type of teams that would want one of those two guys. So you're dealing with, in the West, Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis, Utah, Dallas, Denver, Minnesota, the Lakers, Clippers, the Portland Trail Blazers. That's your top 10 in the West. They will be looking at one of those two type of guys. And then Chicago, Miami, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philly, Cleveland, Charlotte, Washington, Boston, and Toronto. They'd be looking at those two guys. Okay. And you could, when you trade those two guys, you're taking back a bad salary. So again, I mentioned with Evan Fournier, like a Ricky Rubio makes $17 million. He's done for the year. You trade, and he's an expiring. So if you traded Fournier to Cleveland, they're giving you Ricky Rubio and some picks, right? So now you got the summer, that salary's gone. Ricky Rubio is not going to play. So now you got room for your young guys to play. All right. And you could do that with Burks as well. It's even easier with Burks because he's making like $9.5 million. So you can do the same thing. There's some bad contract out there. Somebody's hurt that's making about that money. You could take that contract that's expiring and send out Burks and get some picks back. And now you got, you stockpiling your picks for somebody that you really want later on. So you could do that. And if you do that, right, you're going to have to play the kids. And you got to move Kemba Walker. You have to move him. Okay? He's a part-time point guard. When he's ready to play, he can play. But his knee, he's at the end of his career. His knee is never going to get 100%, ever. It's done. Okay? So, if you want, and even Tom Thibodeau, as much as he loves his veterans, he wants a guy that's available. Availability is a major deal with him. He will bench you forever if you're not available. We've seen that. Okay, so he needs somebody available. So I see Kemba going. And so I don't know what they're going to do, but they got to make a decision here like that. And they got a short window, 20 days to make that decision. Okay. Like, worst case scenario, they could just sit tight and wait till next year when all of these guys are expiring deals and then move, make moves. They could do that. They could do that because I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to suffer as Knicks Nation. Look, let me say this to you. They're going to go on a winning streak. You're going to see them win 3 games in a row. Then you're going to see them lose 3 games in a row. You're going to see them beat teams that you thought they were going to get crushed by. Then you're going to see them lose games like they did against New Orleans, against also Rams. That's what's going to continue to happen. And what that means is you're treading water. You're not going anywhere. Okay? And that being the case, and you're not playing some of these kids, you're wasting time. You're wasting time. We have 22 wins. And it's 22. They're 22 and 24. It's 46 games. There is exactly 36 games left in the season. If you played all the kids right now, I would say you're probably going to win with Tom Thibodeau and some of this talent we have. They're going to mess up because they should have been, getting ready to play from the training camp. So it's not like they had a training camp to play together. You probably would get in the next 36 games. You might win 16 of them. You got a chance to win 16 of them and end the year, with 38 wins. You got a chance to do that with the kids. And you did. But the thing is that's most important about the kids is the experience. You're getting them valuable experience and getting them prepared for the next season. Okay? And so they got a decision to make because, I'm telling you, we're going to suffer now. We are going to suffer, Knicks Nation, because they just lost 3 in a row in Madison Square Garden. And like I said, they're going to go on the road, might win 3 in a row sometime. I'm telling you, that could happen. And be world beaters for a couple of games and then fall back. Okay? Julius Randle was a contributing factor in last night's loss. And we have seen this before. It's like he's a dude that didn't take his meds, man. And all of a sudden he started tripping. And look, before the incident I'm going to name, he was already barking at the refs and getting in their ear. Before that. And then, and like I told you, any night you see Julius Randle spending more time with the referees, it's a bad night. So what the refs do sometimes, and I think y'all know this, if you bark at them and jaw at them too much, they'll purposely miss a call for you. They'll let you get beat up and won't call it. They send you a message. Shut up and say what they're trying to say. STFU. Shut up. And that's what happened. He got the ball on the break, and Valanciunas purposely hammered him. He was taking a foul and made it a hard foul so he wouldn't score. They didn't call it. Of course, Julius lost it. So then at the end of the half, he comes down, he scores a basket on a tip-in, and he's gone jaw to the ref, technical foul. We was down 4. That crushed all momentum. Then Fournier's coming over to him to get him to calm the hell down, and he's swinging off Fournier. Again, he's not the number 1 option. Neither is he the leader of the team. And also, I'm seeing, and I think some of y'all seeing, you're seeing the transition to RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett becoming the number 1 option. RJ Barrett becoming the leader of the team. Last night, there was one particular play where RJ got the ball on the weave, and he's on the right side of the floor, and Julius is in the corner, calling for the ball, and RJ waves him through. Said, no, get out the way. He would have never done that before this year. Okay? Like I told you before, now he has the keys. He's not giving them back. And he's not going to get benched. He's going to start. Last night, the whole starting unit got benched except MitchRob, and RJ still played 28 minutes. He's going to be out there, and he's going to take over now. So you're seeing that transition. How Julius responds to that is going to tell us whether he's going to remain a Knick. I'm going to tell you this. If there is any beef between RJ and Julius, Julius is out. Not RJ. Julius is out. Okay? So Julius will have to calm down. All right? If he doesn't, if he starts tripping, that's it. Now, the problem is you never know what you're going to get. He might come out in a good mood and the Knicks are all ready to play, and then he might come out sour. You just never know what you're going to get with Randle. I don't know. I'm not in his house. I don't know what's going on in the man's life. I know he just had his second child. His wife and his son's out the game all the time. I don't know if anything's going on. I don't know. I mean, he's making $22 million this year. It ain't like he's struggling. I don't know. It's $22 million. After taxes, that's $11 million. NBA players get paid over a 10-month period. He's getting $1 million, $1.1 million per month after taxes. They get paid every 2 weeks. So he's getting $550,000 every paycheck. What would you do with $550,000 over a 2-week paycheck? I'd be smiling. So I don't know what's up with him. I don't know what's going on. But there's obviously a problem. Okay? Kemba Walker, you look at the stats, 1 of 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 3 of 4 from the line, 5 points. I'm not going to blame this loss on Kemba Walker. He kept his head. He controlled the team, best he could. He had 2 assists. When you see, to me, from what we've seen this year, when you see Walker with those type of stats, the knee is already acting up again. Okay, it's already acting up again. Okay, after 2 games, 3 games, whatever we had, it's already acting up again. So he's going to have, the good thing is he's going to have Friday, today, Saturday, and Sunday. They got a game he's got 2-3 days to get, to rest it and hopefully come back ready to play Sunday. But I think the knee is acting up again. Yeah. Fournier was out of rhythm, and, quiet as kept. He needs that ball movement. He needs to have the rhythm of the team. The rhythm has to be right on the team, and he'll flow. And I think when Julius pushed him off like that and was acting a fool, messed Fournier up. Fournier was done. Okay? RJ. He had 0 turnovers. He was guarding Brandon Ingram. He was one-on-one with Brandon Ingram. He was doing a good job, I thought, on Ingram. Ingram ended the game 4 of 10 from the field, 1 of 1 from the 3-point line, 15.6 assists, 5 rebounds. Ingram is a 23-point scorer. So RJ did a good job on Brandon Ingram. And then he scored 17.6 boards, 2 assists. He had a block. And it wasn't his best game, as we know, but he didn't stink. And then, of course, there is the MVP of the day, MitchRob. MitchRob, okay, so you look at the starting unit. Randle was minus 26. Kemba Walker was minus 22. Evan Fournier was minus 24. RJ Barrett was minus 21. MitchRob was minus 1. And why was he minus 1? Because they kept him in the lineup after those other clowns were left, and he was with Mobb Deep. And everybody on Mobb Deep, except Taj Gibson was negative 10. But everybody else on Mobb Deep was positive. They kept him out there running with Mobb Deep, Obi Toppin, Alec Burks, Quickly, Grimes, and MitchRob. And that's why MitchRob was minus 1. And he ended up with 17.15 boards, and there was 7. 7 offensive rebounds, y'all. 15 rebounds, 7 on the offensive end, a block. And I can't even tell you how much intimidation he did. And he's going to develop some offensive game. Y'all so worried about that because y'all be micro-analyzing people like y'all sick, man. Get the boy a chance to get a summer where he can work on his game offensively. He now learns how to play the 5 spot in the NBA, and he's now elite. And let him show you next season what he got. I'm telling you, he's going to break out his bag a little bit. It's going to be something to see. So, yeah, I'm keeping MitchRob. But, yeah, that's my man right there. He came to play last night. He came to play. And he's going to get better. That's the thing. There's still upside. I think we're going to see the next 3 years him develop into a really, I can see a combination of a Bam Adebayo type of player from him, and maybe like a Rudy Gobert, on the defensive end. That's something, you know what I'm saying? Because he's that kind of intimidator. He's that type of athlete. He's that type of talent. That's what I'm saying. The Knicks should not be playing around. Sign this guy to the 4-year, $55.6 million. Get it over with. That way you got him locked up because he's going to be worth a lot more. You keep messing around. Okay. But 17 points, 15 boards. Yeah. MitchRob was good. Obi Toppin, like I said, he was on the nut last night. But he only took one shot. 0 for 1 from the field, 2 rebounds. It doesn't look like he did much, but if you actually watch the game, the defensive scrambling they did, that second unit played some serious defense. Okay. And Obi was getting around the floor, man, and using his length, on the defensive end. So yeah, Obi played good. He was plus 15. That's the biggest number for him, because he's part of a unit that's plus 15. Then you had Alec Burks. He did not shoot well. 3 of 9. 2 of 6 from the 3-point line, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, which is saying something on this team. And then he had 13 points, plus 9, 3 turnovers. Emmanuel quickly had 4 turnovers, 14 points. I'm telling you, he's a second unit dude. He still is to me. He's not a starter that's playing on the second unit. And he's not a point guard. Okay. But he brings energy. And again, he was part of a defensive unit that brought the Knicks back from that game from 25 down. They've cut it to 9. They were down 25. And they went on, that's what all of them plus. Emmanuel Quickly was plus 15. He had 5 assists, but he had 4 turnovers. He had 3 steals. He was active. That defensive unit was active. And Quentin Grimes also. He scored 13 plus 10, 1 turnover, 2 assists. He was 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3. What you gonna say? And then they had 5 guys in double figures last night, led by Mitchell Robinson and RJ Barrett. 4 of those 5 guys are our young guys. You have Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and Quentin Grimes. Alec Burks was the 5th guy. Okay? Now, that's what I'm saying. You got to find some more minutes from some of these guys. You got to get these guys on the floor. Okay? Tom ain't going to do it. He's not going to do it. So, it's up to Leon. We cannot fire the coach. Some of y'all just either you're too young to know or too short-sighted to understand. The Knicks' solution to all the problems over the last 20 years has been firing the coach before their second year was over. Maybe y'all don't know that. Part of long-term sustainable winning is continuity. Okay? Tom Thibodeau's not a terrible coach. We've had worse. It's like I said, some of y'all may not know, that we had some bad coaches in here. Okay? We've had some bad coaches. And we've had some great ones that we let go. Lenny Wilkins, one of the winningest coaches in history, coached the Knicks for 1 year. And Isaiah Thomas fired him. Okay? We've had some great coaches. Pat Riley was a coach here. Of course, Red Holtzman was a coach here. We've had some great coaches here. Hubie Brown, Pitino. None of them lasted long, but we had them. Right? Then you want to talk about bad coach? Derek Fisher, Kurt Rambis. Okay? David Fizdale. Tom Thibodeau is head and shoulders above those last 3 guys I named. Not even close. Okay? Not even close. He has a game plan. He knows what he's doing. You may not like his game plan, but he has a game plan. He has a system that he follows. You may not like it, but it is what it is. Great coaches have systems. Okay? That's what they have in common. They each have different systems, some of them, but they have their system. This is what they do. You may not like it. I may not like it sometimes, but it is what it is. So you can't fire the coach right now. But you put the coach in position to do what you would like to see happen. You talk to the coach about what you'd like to see happen. And you negotiate with him, basically. You have conference with him. You caucus and you come to some compromise. Okay? And I think Leon and Tom could do that. Y'all got to remember, like I said, summer before last, this last summer was 2021, 2020, when they were interviewing coaches. It was written, I don't know if it was Berman, if it was Ian Begley, I can't remember who said it. But there were reports that Tom Thibodeau would be willing to crawl from wherever state he was on his hands and knees into Dolan's office and into Rose's office, begging for the Knicks job because it was his dream job. That tells you he wants to coach for the Knicks. That tells you that if Leon said, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, he's going to do X, Y, and Z because he wants to coach the Knicks. Okay? So it's in Leon's hands to decide what the Knicks are going to look like after the trade deadline and going forward. And like I said, I believe just you get big hints of it based on these short-term deals that he put out there. Okay, he put everybody on 2-year deals, man. Nerlens Noel, again, 2-year deal. Okay, so I think we're going to see eventually the young players play. Some people like Berman keeps calling for some superstar. There ain't no superstar out there that we could get. I'm telling y'all, some of y'all get caught up in this BS and you start fantasizing. No, Damian Lillard's not coming here. Kawhi Leonard's not coming here. Paul George is not coming here. LeBron James is not coming here. Antetokounmpo's not coming here. And you know what? Ben Simmons is not coming here because they haven't even made a call to him. That was in the news already. They didn't even made a phone call to Philly about Ben Simmons. Those guys are not coming. They're not walking through that door. Okay? You're not getting none of them. Then the young prospects that these teams have, like Anthony Simons, you're not getting him. DeJounte Murray, you're not getting him. They're not available. Their teams ain't stupid. So you got to develop your own dudes. Okay? That's how you got to do. You got to develop. Anthony Simons and Nasir Little were drafted by Portland 3 years ago. Nasir Little could just jump. That's all he could do. He wasn't even starting for North Carolina. Anthony Simons was in the IMG Academy. Okay? And so they drafted those kids, they developed them, and now they both showing out. They're not giving them up. Okay? They're heir apparents to McCollum and Lillard. Okay, so you can't just look at these teams, oh, we need to go get him. No. And I know De'Aaron Fox is a 20-something point per game scorer. Yes, he is. One of the fastest guys with the ball in the NBA, no doubt. But I want to develop my guy Deuce. See, there's the easy, quick way, like we used to try to get. And then there's the long-term, sustainable way. Okay? Some of y'all just looking for the easy, quick NBA 2K. Click, go get him. It don't work like that. Okay? You got to develop your guys. That's why we got the team we got. We got to develop. So I think we got the guys we need. They just need time and development. The core is Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. That's your core right there. Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes. Because those are the guys getting your minutes right now. Then you got your Deuce McBrides and your Jericho Sims, not getting no time behind them, but that's the core going forward. And it's enough if we develop it to become Anthony Simons, to become Nasir Little, to become DeJounte Murray. Those guys weren't superstars when they walked into the league. They were developed. Okay? They were developed. And that's what you got. That's what we got to do. Develop them. Okay? So I don't know what these guys are going to do, but last night was a bad loss. New Orleans is an also-ran, man. And they were without Zion. Brandon Ingram, he got hurt like in the third or the fourth quarter and sat out the end of the game. And we still lost to him by 11. We were down 25 in our own court. Like I said, they could win 3 in a row at some point going forward. But overall, our team is middle of the pack right now. Middle of the pack at best. So anyway, we got the Clippers on Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat us without Kawhi and without Paul George. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden Julius Randle wakes up, have a good breakfast, and smiling, and we win by 20. You never know. But anyway, y'all don't go up and down with this team, man. That's why I try to look at it the big picture. We're going to be all right long term. We just have to, our boy Leon has to decide what he wants to do. And the next 20 days are going to tell us what he wants to do. Anyway, Y'all have a good weekend. Be safe out there. Happy Friday. Shalom.